Hi guys, hi, how's it going? How you doing today? Hopefully today finds you well. Today I am doing my top 3 in my eyes categories. So going over all of the random eye products that one might use on their eyes, glitters, pigments, eyeliners, shadow sticks, maybe primers. The palette one is coming. The palette one is just going to be a little bit different because I can't just narrow it down to 3 palettes. So like top 3 in every category of palettes will be on the docket. You will see me in these clothes doing that video very, very soon as well, because it is next on my list to record. If that sounds like something you're interested in, I sure hope you keep on watching. For those of you new here, hi, my name is Donna. I'm a lover of all things high-end colorful beauty and self-care. I also work as a field leader for Ulta Beauty, so I get a lot of education in my position. I like to bring you that education here. But ultimately, I'm just out here talking about makeup because I like to talk about makeup. And if you're here, you probably also like to talk about makeup. So let's just roll into this and talk about some makeup. Today's video is my top 3 in every category for eyes. And I have approximately 7 different categories. Now, this doesn't mean that I've used every single product out there in each of these categories. That is a lot, right? And there's only one product for one of the categories, and mostly because I just haven't used any other product. But what that does mean is that out of the products that I have used, these are the ones that I keep buying, keep purchasing, keep going back to, and would recommend or repurchase in the future. And for the most part, I have something that I'm talking about in my inventory today. The only thing that I don't have in my inventory today to talk about is 2 of the items that fall into this very first category, which is liquid liner. So I don't have the Hindash liquid liner because I used it and I haven't repurchased it because I have far too many liquid liners. I don't know, for whatever reason, this is the category in my collection where I refuse to buy another one until I am down to bare bones in my liquid liner category. It is a black liquid liner, and that has been on my no-buy list for quite some time, actually, because for a while there I was subscription box nuts, and I was getting black eyeliners like so often. And also black liquid liners is something that comes to us in gratis quite a bit, actually. It's just a really easy product to give up. So with that said, I haven't repurchased this liquid liner, but this is probably my favorite liquid liner, hands down. It just goes on really smooth. The brush tip of it is such a beautiful brush tip. It gets really thin at the ends, and I don't find that it goes anywhere at all. It doesn't find itself like creeping into my fine lines and wrinkles around my eyes or anything like that. It is just a beautiful liquid liner. Dries down to a really nice matte black, and I love it. At the end of the day, it will likely be the one when I'm done with I think I have 7 currently in my collection. It will likely be the one that I repurchase, but I do have a couple in my collection that I'm super excited to try out, Danessa Myricks being one of them. That will likely be the next one that I try. Secondarily to that is the Benefit They're Real eyeliner. Now this one comes in brown or black, and I love it in both, but specifically the brown, because you rarely find a brown liquid liner that is brown. It's usually very dark brown, so it looks black. And sometimes you just need a brown eyeliner, and for me and for my aging eyes, brown is actually better in terms of, you know, the lack of stark contrast to the eye look and the lack of heaviness on my upper lash line. So I really do like that They're Real liquid liner also in brown. The brush tip on this one is a little less flexible than the Hindash one, or a little more flexible than the Hindash one. So I find that I can make a quick mess of myself when utilizing it, but it is such a good liquid liner that I am okay with that because those messes can be cleaned up with a makeup eraser or something. The last one is the one that I do have in my collection still, and it is the KVD Tattoo Liner. This, of course, is like a holy grail out there for many people in their collection. And there was a like thing going around way back when, a long time ago. A girl had written into the company and was sent pictures in of herself after a car accident, and you could tell that she was crying her eyeballs out, and she was on a gurney, and her eyeliner had gone nowhere. It was still perfection eyeliner, and that was this eyeliner. And I am here to tell you that that is absolutely accurate. This eyeliner does not go anywhere. It's a really nice jet black. It gets really mattified, and the tip on this brush is fantastic. So this would be also one that I could see being in my collection until the end of time. You know, when you have old aging eyes, it's hard to find an eyeliner that is a brush tip eyeliner that doesn't just kind of find its way into the folds of your eyes and kind of make a mess of what you're trying to go at with eyeliner. And that one doesn't, the Hindash one doesn't, and They're Real by Benefit also doesn't. The next one I have is pencil liners, and I have 3 different brands here, and I just pulled a couple from each of the brands because I have several from each of the brands. So the first pencil eyeliners I have to showcase for you are these. These are the LA Girl Shockwave Neon Gel Liners. I'm not sure that this one is categorized as a neon, but it is part of the LA Girl Shockwave Liner family, and I just have 2 of these for you, but I assure you I have probably 13 different shades of this eyeliner in my collection because they are just so good. They go on the lower lash line really easily. They're also super vibrant. They stay for the most part all day. I do have a really watery eye. These last the test of time, and this one is so super small. I've got tape on the end of it so that I can still sharpen it because it's probably one of my favorite colors. I have finished off a black one of these eyeliners, and I will probably put this into my project pan and finish it off this year as well. Like, they're just really great eyeliners, and they're like $3 a piece. For the price, they are amazing. And if you're balling on a budget, or if you just don't want to utilize your beauty spending money on eyeliners, those are the perfect eyeliners to get. Now, the last time I was looking at them, there didn't seem to be as many colors available, but it just might have been the store that I was in at the time. Another really great one is the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencils. These are also very creamy and literally go nowhere on the eye. You're not like tugging to get them on your lower lash line or your waterline at all. They're just really creamy. What I love about these specifically, all of these actually, is that they stay creamy enough that it gives you enough time to kind of buff around them and kind of buff them out and make them a little bit more smoky if you want to. I do feel like these ones stay all day as well. Now, and neither one of those irritate my eyes. Now, these ones, amazing. I do think that they are fantastic. These are the Natasha Denona Macro Tech Eye Crayons. They would fall into my top 3. Obviously, they're in this video. I will say, though, that these sometimes do bother my eyes, specifically this lime green or chartreusey green shadow or shade, which is Camu. I also have the dark green and like a mustard yellow. The mustard yellow kind of bothers my eyes too, and I'm wondering if it's just the yellow pigments. But this burgundy one is also really freaking beautiful and doesn't bother my eyes at all. These also stay like creamy enough that you can buff them out and really get a smoky look out of them before they completely dry down and then go absolutely nowhere. So those were the 3 like pencil liner favorites, I would say, and I've tried a lot. You know, I think the last time I did this video, which was in October of 2022, so like a year and a half ago at this point, I would have told you that Smashbox, MAC, and maybe LA Girl at that time still were my favorites. And I do love Smashbox, but they have changed their eyeliners and now they're retractable versus sharpenable. And I don't 100% love that. I do love a sharpenable eye pencil for just in case I want it for the waterline. I want to be able to get that sharp line. But also MAC, I have found, makes a really beautiful, bold, pigmented eyeliner, but I don't feel like it is creamy enough that I can buff it out and smoke it out. Unless I'm working very, very quickly and doing one eye at a time. Whereas with these ones, all three of those formulas, I can work with for a length of time after applying them to my eyes. So the one category that I only have one product in is the eyeliner pot category, or like gel eyeliner, I guess is what it would be. And the reason why is because this is truly really the only one that I have used ever. I do have like a Benefit Palmade that is meant for your brows that I also use for a brown eyeliner. It works, but it's interesting. I also have a Bobbi Brown one, but I literally haven't tried the Bobbi Brown one yet. I also have Melt ones that I haven't tried yet. So I do have other versions. These are just the only ones that I have ever tried, and that is the KVD Super Brow. So I do think that they changed the names of these because they're not really necessarily just a brow product. I use them actually as liner because they're waterproof. They go absolutely nowhere. They don't mess around with my super watery eyes. So I know that I can count on these to stay exactly where I want them to be. I'm worried that they're getting a little bit old in my collection. Some of them have not been open, and I try to make sure that I keep them like super tight closed so that the air doesn't get into them. But this one is probably my favorite color. It is in the shade Aubergine, and it's just really this beautiful kind of like plummy, ruddy purple color, and it is so pretty. And I wore it most recently with my Natasha Denona Retro Glam makeup look, one of the makeup looks that I did with that palette, and it just went so beautifully with that palette. And you wouldn't think it would because it is the color that it is, and that palette is mostly like sagey green and like baby pinks. But this went so good with it. I find that that color goes almost like a brown in any other eye look. And then of course purple, but I also have green and yellow and red and white, and I find them really nice to just mix together to come up with any kind of shade that you could ever imagine wanting. Like I would mix this one with the white and get a really beautiful like lavender that would probably look really great with this eye look, to be honest. The next category is eye primer, and I have three, and if you've been around on my channel, you probably know exactly what they are. First and foremost is the Hindash Color Fluid in the shade Canvas. I think this is a beautiful eye primer. It can also be a beautiful like highlighter. It could be a beautiful, and it's completely matte. So you're not getting any kind of dewiness out of this. This doesn't like crease. It doesn't cause creasing, and it just truly gives you a blank canvas to work on top of. This is more flesh tone, so I do, you know, or at least my flesh tone, but he does have multiple different colors of this that you can purchase. And I really, really like this for just my everyday eyeshadow looks because it mutes out any kind of discoloration or veining or anything that I have going on my eyes, and gives me a beautiful blank canvas to work on when I am doing just a regular eye look. Same can be said for this one. This is the Ulta Beauty Matte Eye Primer, probably my favorite hands down, because it's just, you get a ton. It's super easy to get a hold of because it is an Ulta Beauty brand. It's super inexpensive, and it is just really great eye primer. It's not like super tacky, but it does have a little bit of moisture richness to it, so it's not like completely dry on your lids. It does have a little bit of ability to keep your lids like hydrated without like sucking them dry. Also, because it's a little bit more of a creamier formula than say this one is, it does give you a really nice base to stick like a glitter on top of, or a pigment that you're trying to adhere to your eyes as well. Now it isn't tacky, neither one of those are tacky, and neither is this one, to be honest, but they are really, really good eye primers. I didn't bring into this because I don't really consider it an eye primer, but NYX glitter glue is also one that needs to be in my primer thought process as well, because I don't put a glitter on my face without utilizing the NYX glitter glue. I just didn't even think about it when I put this together. The last eye primer that I have is the ABH eye primer, and this is just $13. Granted, it's a lot smaller than this is, and I think probably the same price. I think it's the same price roughly. But this one is just a little tad bit more of a white based eye primer and a little tad bit drier than say like even the Hindash one. And this one is the one that I use when I'm doing, if it's not the NYX color stick, which you'll see in a second, if it's not that. And then it is this when I'm doing a more colorful eye look where I don't want the pigmentation of the eye primer underneath the colors that I'm applying to my eye to impact the colors that I'm putting on my eyes. So I would use this one with this kind of eye look, or like just a rainbow eye look or something when I'm trying to be a little bit more creative and want the colors of the shadows to stand out a little bit more than what they would with even a flesh tone eye primer. The next category is eyeshadow stick. First and foremost being this one. This is the Thrive Cosmetics Brilliant Eye Brightener, and I happen to have mine in the shade Stella, and this is just a really beautiful like highlighting eyeshadow stick that works really well for doing things like inner corner or brow bone. It's just so beautiful, and it is an eyeshadow stick that truly goes on, is creamy enough that it goes on, but also you can rub it and it's really not going to go anywhere after a certain amount of time, but it gives you that time to kind of manipulate it in the way that you need to. Additionally are these ones. These are the Bobbi Brown Longwear Cream Shadow Sticks, and these are really, really great also for like tight lining or doing eyeliner on your waterline. These do not bother my eyes like some of my eyeshadow sticks do. They're also really great eye primers. They're also just really great one and done kind of eyeshadows, and what I love specifically about these is that, much like this one, these go absolutely nowhere on your eyes, but you are given enough time to kind of manipulate them in a way that you could use them for primer if you wanted to. I don't find that anything that goes over the top of them creases, budges, or anything like that. So like double duty beauty with those eyeshadow sticks, they can work as primer as well. The last one I have is this one, and this is the NYX Jumbo Eye Pencil in the shade Milk. So much like the ABH eye primer, this is used in my collection more like an eye primer would be used underneath makeup looks like that I have on today. So this is actually underneath this makeup look today. The only thing that I don't love about this shadow stick that I really love about these ones is that this one does cause a little bit of creasiness if you're not super careful with it, whereas these ones don't. I have been able to put like layer after layer of these ones on my eyes and didn't have any kind of creasing whatsoever. But if you use too much of this, it is going to cause a little bit of creasiness. But I do love it because it goes really well as like a brow bone highlight, and it is matte. It also goes really well as an inner corner highlight, and again, it is matte. And it works really well as an eye primer if you're really careful about the amount of it that you are using to have it be an eye primer. This isn't a shadow stick that I would say I would use as like an eye shadow stick. I would only ever use it as an eye base. And in my haul, either recently that you just saw or will be coming up, you saw that I also picked up a black one. I just feel like they are such really good basic eyeshadow primers that, I mean, the next ones are super cheap. The next category is liquid or cream shadows. These are the About Face matte fluid eye paints. They also have like a couple different versions of these. I fell in love with these a couple years ago, and what I love most about these is like these ones specifically are matte. They work really well as an eye primer as well, but I also love using these on a brush like this, like a really thin pinpointed like fan brush, just taking the doe foot out and moving my brush across the doe foot and then moving that brush into my lashes as well. This is what I use 9 times out of 10 when I have a different colored mascara on my lashes. It is these. They stay, they're amazing. There's no flaking, there's no movement, they do not crease, and the mattes are truly beautiful mattes. The shimmers are I have one of the shimmer ones here. Truly beautiful, impactful shimmers. They just are really dang easy to use, easy to wear, and also, I mean, stunning, right? But I just think that they're truly stunning. What I would say about these ones though is I mean, look at that yellow. What? If you don't work super fast with these do dry really, 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 really quickly. They will be stuck where you put them. So unless you're putting on a big layer, but I mean, this is like a couple swipes of the brush. Like you don't really have to use them in giant layers. What I would say I love doing with them is I will more so use these, take out the doe foot and put my brush onto the doe foot versus putting this straight onto my eye. I just find that it works better that way. So there's that. Secondarily to that, I have these, which are the Sydney Grace liquid eyeshadows, and these truly also do not go anywhere. They are so impactful. They're a little bit more thick than I typically love my like cream shadows to be, but they blend out really beautifully. And these ones you can take a little bit longer to try and manipulate in an eye look to make it look the way that you want them to look. Because they are pretty emollient. They stay emollient long enough for you to blend them out and get them where you want them. But once they dry down, they literally go nowhere. They don't cause exacerbation of texture on your eyes, and they don't crack or flake or bleed or anything into your fine lines and wrinkles or irritate your eyes. Like I have found a true affinity for these Sydney Grace cream eyeshadows as well. And then last in this category, but certainly not least, is the KVD Dazzle Sticks. I think these are so beautiful and didn't get nearly the amount of love that they should have gotten. I have 4 different shades and just pulled a couple of them here for you. I just think they're gorgeous. And I know that I have a couple of, these 2 here. What? And I know a couple of you in the comments have said something every single time I mention these about how these didn't get the love they should have received, and they dang sure did not. These are just so beautiful and impactful and feel like cool and wet to the application process, but once you get them on and you get them where you want to get them, much like the Sydney Grace shadows, they literally do not budge. They don't cause any exacerbation of texture, even though they are also quite a bit thicker. I mean, they are in a stick, but you put it into your eye look and it just kind of melts into your skin and becomes one with your skin, and it's just truly, truly beautiful, so impactful, and could double as your glitter glue if you need it to, because it stays rather like tacky and emollient for a minute. But once they're on and dry, they literally don't go anywhere. So, I mean, you gotta appreciate that, right? Especially for an on-the-go, you need your eye look to last forever kind of person. That is a wonderful, like, creamy, emollient, impactful cream shadow. The next to last section I have is glitters or pigments, and I do have 3. One of them is a little bit newer to me, so I will talk about that last. But first and foremost is the Marc Jacobs See-Quins. I think that these are beautiful. I love that it is a glitter that's kind of encapsulated in this pot, and it isn't like flaky or gonna go all over the place because, you know, you dump or drop the component. It also comes in a beautiful component, and I know it's Marc Jacobs and I'm super sorry about that, but it is truly my favorite glitter, has been my favorite glitter for a very long time, and I think mostly because I trust that it's not going to fall into my eyes and cause irritation to my eyes. Another one I have is the MAC SpellBinders. Now these I also got as a limited edition item, so I'm not sure that these are still available either, but like, look at just how beautiful this is. Like, it truly is so pretty. What I would say about these ones though is that they are going to be a little bit more fallout all over the place. I usually will just literally dip my finger into the top and pat it on an eye look and call it good. I don't mess with like glitter glue with it, and I don't mess with like trying to wet it, put Duraline in it and make it an actual shadow. That's why it's lasted as long as it has in my collection. Like, truly, this should have been gone decades ago. I feel like I haven't had it for decades. Let's not get hasty here. These last forever because it literally doesn't take very much to be impactful in an eye look. This goes so well over the top of like a blue-green eye look just because of the shiftiness to this one. And then I also have one that's kind of red-brown. Really beautiful. I also have a couple more of these Marc Jacobs See-Quins as well. Listen, if Marc Jacobs comes back and they have those See-Quins, I'm telling you, they are stunning. Stunning glitters. And then one that I have recently fallen in love with are these Half Magic little glitter pills. I do have 2. This one I purchased, another one I got in gratis. And this one is called, I think, Mercoise. The name isn't on here that I can find, and it might just be because I don't have my glasses on, because I can feel that there is a like sticker here that probably tells me what this is, but I cannot read anything on it. But it is the glitter that I have in my eye look right here. It doesn't go anywhere until you take it off. And it has this cool little like brush tip applicator that comes to a really nice point that you use to put it on your eyes. I've used it in my inner corners. I've used it right along my lash line as an eyeliner the other day. And then today I just have it as a graphic piece to my eye look. I love this glitter so much. It is the epitome of glitter that is super and pretty and impactful, that literally goes nowhere but is kind of chunky and gives off like all those different reflex of beauty that you would expect from like maybe a craft glitter, but it's not like craft glitter size, if that makes any sense. I love these so much. I would purchase probably, I don't know, 14 more of these. I have only been using it for a short time, and there's already this like giant window in this guy. And I know that it's not because it's dried up, because I just opened it. I just purchased it and just opened it up. So I've used quite a bit of that product since I brought it into my collection about a month ago. The last section of eyes that we're going to go over today is pigments. So the 3 different brands for pigments that I have are MAC, which I think I would be remiss if I did not add MAC to this, because MAC was born out of like their little tiny like medicine vials full of pigmentation. This is my ultimate favorite. This is MAC Chartreuse pigment, and it is just beautiful. It is beautiful on an under eye. It is beautiful on an inner corner. It is so pretty and easy to use. Like, when I think of pigments and how much I hated them when I first came into this makeup scene, because I could not figure out how to use them and have them look the way I wanted them to look, like Max was just so easy to use. Along those same lines, I have the Sydney Grace pigments, and I do have like a couple here. This one is in the shade Rhyme, and this one is in the shade Ripples, and probably my favorite is Ripples, so I'm gonna go ahead and show you that one. The one thing I hate about pigments is just truly how messy they are, but I think that you can see a little bit of the like shiftiness of this Ripples one here on the lid. It is just so pretty and impactful, and like every time I wear it, I'm just like, oh, that's so pretty. And what I love about it too is like it looks good wherever I put it. Like I put it on the it just makes it look like super pouty. It's just so good. They're just so good, and it is beautiful. And then lastly is this one by Jelly Pong Cosmetics, and this is one of their cosmic light pigments, and this one's in the shade Pulsar. And this one is a favorite of mine because it's got a little bit of shiftiness to it as well. But I also just love supporting the little guy. And this is something that I got out of an Ipsy, and just look at how gorgeous this is. I got a little bit much, but also look at how shifty that is. That makes a really beautiful eye look right there. That blue, that green, that like baby doll pink. Oh God. So pretty and easy to use. All of these are really super easy to use. What I would say is that pigments are not my favorite thing because pigments are so dang messy. I also find it a must to have a glitter glue with pigments as well, because even when I spray my brush, I find that pigments just kind of melt away. So they're messy and sometimes are not worth it, but those ones are definitely worth it in my humble opinion. So that's it. That's all I have for you. If I missed an eye category, please let me know. I would be happy to tell you down in the comments section what those items would be if I had a top 3. What are your top 3 in, or your top 1 in each one of these eye categories? I would be certainly interested to hear from you. I always love our conversations down in the comment section, so don't forget to hit your girl up. I hope that you all loved the video, and I hope that you loved it enough that you're considering subscribing before you go. As I said, I just love chattering about makeup, and I think that if you also do, that we could be fast friends here, so I hope that you want to subscribe before you go. I just want to thank all of you for being here today. Thank you so much for coming and spending moments of your time with me. I appreciate every single one of you for being here. I hope that you and yours are well. I hope that you are all healthy and safe and getting along as best you can, and that summer is, if you are getting summer, I am very jealous because we do not have anything that resembles summer here in Western Washington. It's so cold. It's so cold. Look. It is June, and I have got on a long sleeve shirt. I've got on fleece lined leggings. Like, I don't understand why it's got to be so cold. And with that said, thank you guys so much again. I appreciate every single one of you, and I hope that you are all loving each other, but loving each other from afar. And until next time, bye, friends.